I don't have time to write and record a full review or even finish Bloodstained Ritual of the Night before I leave for my summer leave. If you follow me on Instagram at MarcTheCyborg or Twitter and at CyborgMark, you might know that I'm an active member of the Canadian Armed Forces. I'm a medic, and I actually am a real-life cyborg. I lost my right leg in 2017, and I have a robot leg, but it hasn't stopped me from serving my country, so don't ever say that you can't do something because you got injured. If you work hard enough, you can do anything. Now that the motivation's out of the way, I want to talk about Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I did not write a script for this video. I have not finished the game. I'm only about 38% of the map in, maybe 40, and maybe about 9 hours of actual game time. So this is just going to be kind of an off-the-cuff impression. I really just wanted to get my thoughts out there for the game because I've been really enjoying it, and also, you know, leave you with something so this channel isn't totally dead of content for the next 3 weeks while I'm on my vacation. My problems with the game are minimal at this point. The jump is on the floaty side. It definitely feels a little slow and seems like you're in the air for almost a bit too long, at least at first, because if you've ever played a Koji Igarashi Castlevania type game, you know that the game really begins once you unlock the double jump, and when you unlock the double jump in this game, it does feel a bit better. You feel like you have a bit more control in the air. I think I was just thrown off because while I was playing Curse of the Moon for my previous video, I really got used to the way the jump feels in that game, and the jump in Ritual of the Night definitely feels different. I wouldn't say it's necessarily even worse, it just felt different and a little bit on the disorienting side. The other issue I have with it is something I actually touched on in my Curse of the Moon review. There are some story continuity issues with Curse of the Moon, which, as I said, I was expecting because the scenario was rewritten since Curse of the Moon was made, so that was to be expected. But these games can't really exist in the same timeline unless there's some memory wipe stuff that goes on. Again, I haven't finished the entire story, so I don't really know how that's going to pan out exactly. What I did find out about the story, and something I absolutely got wrong in my Curse of the Moon review, is you do not pronounce Gable as Gable. The name is pronounced Jeeble. So if you watched my Curse of the Moon review before this and you were thinking, oh, this guy's stupid, he doesn't even know how to pronounce the name, he's not a Bloodstained fan at all. I'd only read the name before, I now know how to pronounce it, so I'm willing to admit that I was wrong. The game has a lot to love about it though. There's tons of combat variety. Every weapon feels pretty different, or at least weapon type. Even a lot of the weapons within the weapon types feel differently. The shard system, which I only mentioned the Curse of the Moon review as Gable and Mary, said it again, as Jeeble and Mariam being shard binders, which are people who have been augmented with these hellish minerals or crystals called shards. When you kill an enemy, there's a chance that you might be rewarded with one of these shards, like these demon piece shards, and they will give you abilities that you can either activate. Some of them are passive, some of them give you stat buffs, and it's sort of how the game allows you to create your own loadouts and develop your own combat style. So it's a lot of fun. I'm sure I've hardly even scratched the surface of it, and I have fallen into a little bit of comfort having a loadout that I really like, but it seems like there's plenty to experiment with if you want to get creative with the way that you play this game. One thing that I'm a massive fan of is that David Hayter does the voice of Zangetsu, the swordsman, and he's just flat out doing the Solid Snake voice. Like, he's not even trying to hide it. He is just, Solid Snake is in this game.
Stop right there. I knew what you are. That ghastly air about you. You reek of sorcery, Shardbinder.
Ah, and what am I to make of you?
Me? I am your executioner.
He has an eye patch and a robot arm, and it's great. It's a character that I enjoyed from Curse of the Moon as well, Zangetsu. He's a very broody, sad boy. He's a sad boy, but he's a really very, very cool sad boy with a katana. You will be able to play with him at some point as DLC, but spoiler alert, so skip maybe the next couple seconds. Probably I'll throw up a time code there to say when it's safe to skip to, but for this minor spoiler, for about 8 hours into the game, where you're fighting alongside Zangetsu, and it really kind of gave me a flashback for the ending of Metal Gear Solid 2 when you're playing as Raiden and kind of fighting alongside Snake.
Find something to believe in, and find it for yourself. And when you do, pass it on to the future.
Believe in what?
That's your problem. Come on.
And he's kind of barking things at you like, climb over there, or get over here, or hey, I need your help. And it's so cool to just hear David Hayter doing that voice again. I kind of realized, as much as I'm a huge fan of Kiefer Sutherland, I realized how much I missed him in Metal Gear Solid 5. The bosses, speaking of that train level, are pretty much the same bosses that you fight in Curse of the Moon so far. There seems to be a version of the twin-headed dragons, a version of the big steam engine thing that you fight on the train, the teleporting thing that's in the library. It almost seems like they did one round of concept art and have been using the bosses in both Curse of the Moon and Ritual of the Night, which makes sense. The game was made on a budget, and it might be one of the reasons why Curse of the Moon is more of an alternate universe take as opposed to being an in-canon story prequel. But I've been enjoying it so far, and it has been really cool to see the 3D version of these enemies. But anyways, I'll cut it off there, and I just wanted to sort of get my thoughts out there and do a bit more of an unstructured video with some light editing, so that it won't be quite as fancy as my normal work. And if you really were bothered by this and think that I ramble and talk too much, I do have some edited videos that are more structured reviews, and while I'm on my vacation, I'm going to be going to both Toronto and Austin, Texas. I grew up in Toronto, but Austin, Texas, I'm going to visit an American Army friend of mine who's back from a deployment, and I promised I'd buy him a beer, so I'm off to go do that. But in the meantime, I am going to be writing a few different scripts. I have some ideas kicking around, and I'm hoping to have them done by the time I get back from my vacation, and hit the ground running editing when I get back and have some proper edited content for you. But thank you to all the new subscribers, especially all the people that Papa Gundam sent over here. I was mentioned on Twitter by a YouTuber with far more subs than I have called It's a Gundam, and he's hilarious and was very nice for giving me a shout out, and I thank all of the It's a Gundam fans that came over here, and if you found me some other way, please go check out It's a Gundam. He's very, very funny and quite knowledgeable when it comes to gaming and gaming news. But anyways, I'll cut it off there. I'm about to finish packing for my vacation, and I will hopefully see you in 3 weeks, plus however much time it takes me to edit the first video, which it might be a little while, but content is coming, and I hope you have a fantastic summer. Happy Canada Day.